A bit earlier, you said what an auspicious date to launch the chocolate, but why did I launch it on the 14th? And what did I do on the 14th of February? Is I made a small collection of chocolate with infused with ginger and ginseng.
Okay.
Because you know the Japanese people don't make babies anymore. So
is this an aphrodisiac combination?
But ginger is like an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
And ginseng is also helpful. So I'm like, yeah, have fun.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I can. How long do we have? So my real first background is finance. I used to be a trader for hedge funds. So I traded equities, commodities, and it's when I was in Singapore and I wanted to try not my luck, but I wanted to try the F&B business. But Singapore was very, very complicated. The rents are very high, and you need to be like like a Starbucks or something to break even, sort of. So I'm like, okay, no problem. At least I've tried, and it actually gave me the curiosity about being a chef. So I started to intern in Singapore with a lady called Janice Wong, and her chef was he's now becoming very famous. His name is Julien Perinet, and he is now the new executive chef of the group Hyatt in Asia. And he is always in Mumbai, and he is and basically his office is at the Park Hyatt in Tokyo. So he basically taught me the basics, and I liked his way of teaching. So I decided to, learn pastry. So I went to France. No, actually I went to Spain, culinary school, and then I went to France, and then I went to Japan, and that's where I met Ugo. I went to Japan the goal was actually to learn Japanese pastry, the mochis and the cheesecake. But I'm talking back in 2017, not yesterday, 2017. So the idea was to learn this and bring the concept back to Europe, especially London. Okay. But I got there, I found my training, and I found a friend of mine from Saint-Tropez in Tokyo, and he said, look, I need somebody to make at the time we were trying to make this little cake called tarte tropézienne. It's a little cake. It looks like a macaron, but it's from Saint-Tropez. So we started with this, and a few months in, this guy went back to France and he gave me his company. So that's how I took over. And I realized the tropézienne, like nobody knew what it was. They were like, is it macaron? Is that a shoe? And many times I got, is that a shoe? Is that a shoe? I'm like, you guys want shoe? Good. I'm going to make you a shoe. So I pivoted and I started to make shoe. But what I did is, because of the cost, of French products, I did with what I had locally, meaning rice flour and coconut milk. And I ended up touching the gluten-free market. And I realized it was a huge market, and it was fantastic. I got 2 shops, like one in Takashimaya and Yangbashi and one in Isetan Shinjuku.
Okay. So sorry. So gluten-free is a big market in Japan?
Yeah, we did a few years ago. You sent me, you were not there yet, but Ugo sent me a guy to interview me about the gluten-free market, and the interview never went through. I don't know what happened with the guy. It was a Japanese guy. It seems like he did not believe me, but I was talking to the customers every day, so I know what they wanted, and the people were coming buying. So it was box of 6. And people would buy like 6 bucks at the time. I was sold out every day. And there is that association, like foundation for pushing gluten-free products. She came to see me. She's like, it's actually a big market in Japan because a lot of people are getting. It's not that they're allergic to gluten. It's just they really want alternatives.
Okay, that makes sense. We recently came across a a bakery that does a lot more inclusive goods. I think it's called
I've got
AVG.
cookies. I got them
Yes.
yesterday.
Ah,
Yes, I cooked to them yesterday. I met them yesterday.
amazing.
We're at a friend of mine who has a fund. He had like a catering of all these of all companies that he invested in, and they were there.
Is this the J-Star X companies?
No, it's called Shinsen Capital. It's the VC fund.
Okay. Okay.
But they're probably backed up by some other company. But we were at the Inspired Lab in Otimachi, and they were there. The entire team was there. Yeah, that was very interesting. I think it's a bit too late to come into this market now.
Interesting.
Especially with cookies. I mean, this has been done for like ever.
Okay.
So they did. That's why I didn't find it very interesting for me, because I mean the market in Japan is different. But for me, I was in the gluten-free market since 2017, and it's 2025, and you come out with cookies. I mean, just be a little bit more innovative, because I mean I've been seeing gluten-free cookies in the UK for like ever. Really. Or in the US, because I used to live in the US as well. It's not new. And in Japan, it was something really new. It was something, wow, gluten free. Well, okay, maybe. Well, I mean, it's good for me if I want to relaunch the gluten free thing. But we'll see. The problem we had was the logistic, because everything was fresh and made every morning. So logistically speaking, it did not happen because I was sold out every day, but I would have to throw some every day, every morning, making more again. And it was a bit troublesome to logistically speaking, and also a bit of, a lot of work for, the price was quite reasonable and not much margin. So I need to review all of this, like,
right.
Yeah. But I'm sure we'll find a way to come back with this. But I switched to chocolate for a particular reason.
Okay. Excellent. That is a great segue then. How did Maison Marianne start? How did you start your company then? The chocolate company?
Maison Marianne. Yes.
Yes.
So this inception was in, I think 2022 or 2023. I was actually looking at buying back a small chocolate factory in France, actually. I had plan A, plan B. And the first one was called Maison Marianne. So that was the name of the company. And it was that close to be done, because this is when I started to name, Maison Marianne on the packaging and stuff, and stickers. It didn't go through. Then I tried to buy a second one in the north of France. It didn't go through either. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna set it up my own chocolate factory in Japan, not in France, because I had enough of the yes and no and yes and no, and there's also too many norms in France that are killing the business. So I decided to leave again and went to Japan. But before that, I went to Peru. So the Peru trip was not supposed to be a Peru trip. It was supposed to be an Uzbekistan trip. But my friend told me, I'm not going to go to Uzbekistan. Let's go to Peru. I'm like, well, okay. I'm in the chocolate business. Let's go to Peru. And it's when I arrived in Peru, or maybe just a few days before, I called a friend of mine, used to live in Peru and work for the World Bank in Lima. I said, listen, I need a good cacao plantation. And he said, okay. So he sent me, but by the time he came back with contacts. My friend and I, we went to the south, and we almost got scammed. Like, the south of Peru was a huge scam. The people were asking us like $400 per person just to bring us from point A, like Cusco, to like the plantation. I mean, it's always a few hours drive, but they were asking us $400 just to bring us and make the introduction to the plantation.
Okay.
So it's not how it works. When they ask you this, it's a scam. So back up to Lima, and this is always flying, and it's not just bus or road. It's like we need to go to the airport, take another flight. Anyway, so back to Lima. Then we went to north of Peru, a place called Tarapoto, and that was from my friend. So the guy I met there was a contact of my friend, and this is where I found the cacao. So the cacao comes from a sustainable farm in north of Peru, in a place called Tarapoto. And we have so far, okay, after tasting and launching, we have a cacao that apparently nobody has. It has
sense?
in a sense that the taste is different and the aftertaste is even better.
Okay.
It's velvety, it's fruity, and I know why, because our plantation is actually, I can send you pictures of it. It's in the middle of the plantation, there is a river.
Mhm.
And we also grow coconut trees. So everything meets in the roots, like down in the roots, and then it goes back to the cocoa tree. So that's why we have that specific taste.
Like a coconutty aftertaste?
Sorry?
It's a coconutty
No,
aftertaste.
there's no, not at all. I mean, maybe if you try, you're gonna tell me it's coconutty, but it's very smooth. It's very velvety. Like everybody tried the 70%, and people are a bit, it's bitter at 70%. I don't really like this. It's not. Everybody thought it was like 60 or 65%.
Okay.
Yeah, because we use also, in chocolate, 70% is the cacao percentage, and the rest, the 30% is sugar. We also use an organic sugar that is called panela, and you can only find this in Peru or very specific suppliers. And this sugar is a brown one, unrefined. So it doesn't add another taste to the cacao. It just amplifies the taste of
Okay.
our cacao already. So I found this guy. And I said, okay, I want to work with you. And what I also liked is the rainforest is, well, the plantation is inside the rainforest. And they also reinvest in the communities around it. And they have a program to preserve the rainforest and the species living in the rainforest as well. So I was like, well, that's pretty good. And yeah, so I'm like, okay, let's start together.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm just interested in this whole Peru thing. Peru is not a major cocoa producer, is it? It's not one of the top.
It actually is.
It is.
Yeah, but they're not okay. So compared to Africa, they're not industrialized.
Right.
Right. So that's the only difference.
Because when you think of Latin America, Brazil is a big producer.
Yeah, but Brazil is more coffee.
I think they also do a fair
They
amount
do,
of
they do cacao as well, but they are very, very well known to produce coffee.
coffee. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in the plantation, one of the plantation I visited, cacao one, they always have, most of them, they also have coffee.
Right. Okay.
But as you say, how can I say? Okay, it's not major as in producing as much as Ghana or as famous as Ghana
Yes.
or African. Okay.
Yes.
And it's good for me because who buys Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire? It's Nestle, it's those big guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that they are the eyes set on Africa, because then people like me, small chocolatier who wants to, of course, we're expensive. We're more expensive than the one you can find in the supermarket. But we have something very different. And it's not just because I'm also making functional chocolate. It's because my base is solid and is good. And because we can still work with those guys, because in any case, they cannot produce for the big guys. Okay. So that's also what's happening in Peru. It's small-ish plantation for them, but big plantation for small people like me. I mean, small business like me. Yeah.
Okay.
But the quality of the Peru cacao is something else. It's just, it's on a different level. I mean, fermentation, look, a very good proper fermentation is between 6 and 7 days. In Africa, most of the time it's 4 or 5 days. So there's something missing. But I understand it's, industrial. So they need to cut the cost wherever they can.
All right.
That is perfect.
So quite like, again, isn't it logistically a massive issue to get cacao all the way from Peru to Japan?
So, well, not really, because I got lucky to they have over there, they're very, very in this plantation, they're very, very well industrialized. They have the right machines, so they can go up to very big amount of production. Now, I would say the only problem is to bring this cacao from Peru to Peru, actually. Not Peru to Japan, but more Peru to Peru, because they're in the north of Peru and the main hub is Lima. So they need to bring the chocolate, they need to send the chocolate from the north of Peru to Lima. I mean, it's not in the south, but it's the main hub. So this is the difficult one, because there's not much infrastructure down there. But once it reaches Lima, I can get it by DHL, or there is one guy in Japan who imports it. So it's easy. It costs me way more to go through this guy than to go through Peru directly. But for now, since I'm doing small quantities, I don't really have a choice. But I realize I can get DHL to bring it to me anyway. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Okay.
I know up to my parts, I mean, as I say, I'm not working for Nestle, so I don't know what.
Like Nestle, and at this point, the big companies are not really the interesting guys.
No, there's one thing I know is when I hear about those, oh, chocolate is expensive. No, guys, it's not. It's just because you're not looking at the right place. Yes, cacao in Ghana is expensive, but my cacao, which is organic, is the same price than 1 kilo in Ghana, which is just made like, whenever they can, however they can. It's also organic. It's nowhere in the market so far, except in Japan now. And we have an interesting, story. And the guy, I mean, also it's probably because of my background in commodities. If you work with the guy enough, you can tell him, look, rain or shine, I'm gonna buy the kilo at that that much for the next 3 years. That's it. You have locked the price in for the next 3 years, and then you can plan. Then you can then you can like set your price, do your menus sort of, and then 3 years later, then we'll see. Then maybe 3 years later you can keep the same price or even rise it, because people are getting used to a little raise every 2-3 years. So
Right.
it's also not even about, but the consumer will understand. But this is how I do it now. Lindt and Nestle, they have day traders. They're buying every day, because yes, even if it's just a few cents, for them it's huge amount of money.
Yeah.
The
volume game is good.
And then on the it's called a future contract. Then they get delivered.
Okay. My goodness, this is fascinating. We're going to talk about you and functional chocolate.
Okay.
How did you take, so you have now a base chocolate made from cacao from Peru. It's organic. It has a really unique taste. And you decided, and you also just decided to start in Japan.
Yeah. Yes. Because in France, kind of so, by reading through the, I forgot the name in English, les bilans, income statements of those companies, because I wanted to buy them back. So I was doing the due diligence. The margins are, I mean, they have good margins, but there's so much tax and norms, and the raw material is already very expensive. So it was not really, how can I say? It was not really efficient. And also my business model is quite different than having just one chocolate shop. So I decided to come to Japan first of all, because I honestly missed it. I like the business culture. And also because in Japan, they still like premium products. Okay. They still spend money on premium products.
Okay. And so how did the functional aspect of it come along?
I where did I saw that? Oh yeah, it was during an event last year in Cannes. There is something called Cannes Lions. And I was discussing with a friend of mine about the mushrooms and different functional ingredients. And the guy told me that they were actually a company from the US. I don't know how they brought it back to France, but they were literally distributing chocolate with mushroom inside. So, but we're talking the magic mushroom. Okay. We're not talking functional mushroom. We're talking about the magic ones.
Okay.
I was like, wait. And I started reading on it, but and I'm like, wait, those functional things, this could be great, because I read also it's also a big market now, because there is already a lot of chocolate shop. Okay. Yes, my chocolate is very good, but what do I bring? What more do I bring other than being a chocolate shop? I was like, well, honestly, not much. So I also pivoted here, and I started to experiment with functional chocolates. With functional ingredients such as shatavari, cinnamon, maitake, maca root powder, ginger, ginseng, and a bit earlier you said what an auspicious date to launch the chocolate, but why did I launch it on the 14th, and what did I do on the 14th of February? I made a small collection of chocolate infused with ginger and ginseng.
Okay.
Because, the Japanese people don't make babies anymore. So
is this an aphrodisiac combination?
But ginger is like an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
And ginseng is also helpful. So I'm like, yeah, have fun. And I saw it was well received, and I started to experiment a little bit more with more functional mushrooms like the maitake, the lion manes, and the tremella. There is one very good that I tried recently, and it's tremella. So the tremella is for skin, and I made those little teddy bear in chocolate. Yeah, this is like a very famous French candy. It's marshmallow covered in chocolate.
Do you know what? I think I saw it on your Instagram page.
Probably. It's pink inside.
Yeah, it's a tiny little. Yeah. I saw that.
So this is like those teddy bears are. It's a staple of like my French childhood. So I recreated but I added the tremella mushroom. Mm-hmm. It's very easy. I made a powder out of it, and I incorporated into my the marshmallow butter, if you can call that. And I also, for the pink color, it's not just pink color, it's actually a freeze dried strawberry, so it also tastes like strawberries. Okay. So that was really good. Actually, I really like that one. I also made vegan caramel with something called a snow swallow, which is also for skin because it's full of collagen. And the snow swallow, I found it actually at Foodex 2025. It's a Japanese company, and they gave me a big piece of it to try it out, and it's perfect because it also acts like gelatin, to hold it together, and it's completely vegan.
What is this ingredient?
Snow swallow. And
Snow
it's like
swallow.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's the name in English, but it's like the juice in a tree, huh?
It's like a resin or a sap from the tree.
Yes. And it's quite hard. And then you put this in the water for 10 hours, and it looks like seaweed, the texture of seaweed, and then you can cook this. And I made caramel with this, and that was really good. And then I top it up with more tremella as well and cinnamon. And I made one chocolate bar with shatavari and banana. And that was actually for a customer of mine who asked me a customized chocolate bar because she was stressed and she couldn't sleep. The other one wanted something for immunity. So I used candied dried orange with maitake. And this one you probably have seen it in the...
Yes, there's a bar.
Yeah,
with the orange slice. Yes, I remember.
Yes. So this was for the customer who said I need help with immunity in general.
So so people come to you and they ask you for specific functional benefits.
They can. For example, the first customers, I always put a little some sort of a business card size with the history of Maison Marianne, and in the back they have a QR code, and they have access to questionnaire, sort of like and they can customize their own chocolate bar according to like a symptom. Let's say they're stressed out. We offer, they can choose shatavari, ashwagandha, they can choose the base, 70 or white or milk chocolate, and then they can choose dried fruits to go inside. That's for now, that's what we do. I do it only for the customer who buys something, because if I start to just open to everybody, I'm just going to be swamped very, very, very soon. And I won't be able to follow up. So I would rather do it with my my base of customer first, and then we can go bigger. But yeah, it's a possibility. They can also custom their own chocolate bar according to their symptoms, if I can say that.
That's actually fascinating, because I think this is a growing trend within not just chocolate, but across the board, across food and drink, we're seeing people want a lot more personalized options. And this is like really hyper personalized, isn't it? I don't think chocolate has had such detail or such a level of customization.
No, that's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. And people think it's a challenge logistically. Honestly, not really, because we still set up. I mean, there's not 1,000 choices, right? It's few choices every time. So, and most of the time it's stress and sleep.
Right.
So, it's pretty easy. I mean, I can use one functional ingredient for a lot of different things. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. For now, it's like 3 choices, 3 base, 3 ingredients, 3 dry fruits, and 3 nuts. And
it actually gives you.
And I also make this because a client actually asked me about this. The slice of orange, but infused with cloves.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I do this, and I cover them with cinnamon as well. And before leaving, I found out that I could make pecan nuts coated with this tremella, the tremella mushroom. This was fantastic. I had it as a snack when I was waiting my flight. It was so good because the tremella has a vanilla-ish taste. So the pecan nuts plus the vanilla taste was fantastic. Fantastic. I'm like, whoa.
So wait. So the mushroom itself has a vanilla taste. It's like the natural taste.
Yeah. The tremella, yeah.
That's fascinating because again, when people think mushroom, you're usually going to it for the umaminess that it brings. Yeah. So does it?
There is in the maitake.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit, but it's more like how can I say? It's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. It's more like I don't know the name, but the color is brown. I don't know the name. I cannot name the taste, but I would, the color as I associated with it is brown. So not like if you eat soy, of course not, but more like a root vegetable. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the chocolate, everything.
Oh yeah, actually, that's another thing. A lot of the functional ingredients do tend to have a rather nasty taste by themselves. Is the chocolate helping to mask that?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The chocolate or the caramel or the cookies itself. Yeah. And because, as I said, there's always a dry fruit with the chocolate bar. You have the functional ingredient and the fruit. So for this.
Okay. So it's a really good carrier for functional ingredients.
Correct. But since it's very new, I'm still working on my on the recipes as well.
So it's an interesting way to look at chocolate, because chocolate in itself could be potentially a functional ingredient. I mean, if you think about, so you already have that as a functional ingredient, and now you have the growing interest in all these different functional ingredients because of our lifestyle. Like you said, people come to you for sleep issues, they come to you for stress,
for hair.
Or hair. Beauty ingestibles are a big thing right now.
Yeah. So, it's not, and again, I just want to say it's not a drug, okay? It's not a medication.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I mean, these are their inherent benefits, I guess.
Right?
It's antioxidant. Like all of these things are their inherent benefits, or they're just associated with.
Yes. I don't play chemistry in my kitchen. Yeah. As I know this one is for this. I know this goes with this. So far, so good. I don't think I would want to transform my chocolate into medication.
Yes.
It's not my job anymore.
Yeah. And a lot of these they're not pharma grade, but they are accepted.
Yeah, correct.
People accept them as medication. Yeah. And I guess that also helps with the acceptance of functionality and
exactly. Yeah. Yes.
So So how do you actually choose your ingredients?
Sorry?
How did you choose your ingredients? Like, what mushrooms that do you want as part of your ingredient set? What nuts, what fruits? What was the deciding factor?
Wait, sorry, again? One more time.
So you said you have, like, people can choose when they want chocolate from you. They can choose from a base. You have a couple of functional ingredients that they can pick from, fruits that they can pick from, and nuts that they can pick from.
Yeah.
How did you choose those particular ingredients?
Sorry. Yeah, because most of the time what's coming back is people not being able to sleep or with a lot of stress, or they want something for skin and nails and hair. That was the most, the most common, let's say, observed.
Right.
So with a friend of mine who's a naturopath in Tokyo, we also came up with the functional ingredients to use for these symptoms. That's how I choose it. But for example, I started with the tremella for skin, and then I discovered the snow swallow. So when I discover something new, I taste them with my recipes. If it goes well, and also there's also something else, it also needs to hold the shape and the cooking.
Yeah.
So if that passes all the tests, then I add it into the list of ingredients. So it might happen that the listing of ingredients is getting a little bit longer, or that I remove something. For example, we use something called shatavari, which is for stress, and this one's for stress. But if I could find something with a better taste, I will remove the shatavari. But I know the shatavari works very well. Like the customer will ask me for this. I used the banana and shatavari. She was very, very happy with it. So it also a lot of research and try and test, and it's also very interesting. But I definitely love to work with tremella and the snowfall.
Okay. And so how long did it take before you were actually able to open the research? So finding the ingredients, getting the research done, because you must have spent a lot of time experimenting with all these different ingredients to see actually what flavors match with what ingredients.
Yeah. So the ingredients, to be very honest, I don't know if you're going to keep this one, but most of those mushrooms, they're from traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah. Okay.
So it happens that I went to Shanghai in January. Okay. And all those mushrooms, they're just sold in the supermarket in Shanghai. Whereas in Japan, they are sold in like very specific shops right. So I thought, look, they're also quite cheap in China. And I'm like, you know what? I took everything I could find. I brought them back to Japan, and I tried in the kitchen. The kitchen is in Ichigaya, and I tried different recipes. I mean, I always have a base recipe for the caramel, for the marshmallow, for example. I always have a base one, and I'm not gonna change the base one because I know exactly what I need. I know the grammage, and I'm not gonna change. I know the base recipe is the perfect one. So if the ingredient doesn't go with the recipe, I'm going to change the ingredient and not the recipe.
Right. Understood. Yeah. Okay.
But
otherwise you would have
a lot at changing the recipe to match the ingredients. I can't do that. I can't do that, because can you imagine if I need each recipe for each ingredient? No. So honestly, only from what I brought back from China, I bought 3 different types of tremella. I bought 2 different types of maitake, and 2 different types of which one? I think that's it. Look, for example, the tremella, only one make the cut. Yeah. Only one out of the 3 that I bought. Only one, and the maitake, same thing. Only one that I got from China I could work with.
Okay, and so now does that work into your supply chain? Like, I know exactly where I got this. This is where I will get the future supply also from.
Yeah.
Or is that more complicated?
No, it's fine. It's quite easy because, well, if I need, I just go there and buy it. Otherwise, I can have it sent to Tokyo. For now, it's not a big deal, because again, it's small quantities. Now I need to work on bigger quantities. It seems like there's a supplier of it in Japan as well. And if not, I just bring it from China. Look, it's mushroom. There's no added ingredients. It's just plain mushroom, dried plain mushroom. So it's quite easy to import to Japan.
Okay. And you mentioned that you have a rather unique business model. Is that something you're willing to talk about right now?
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, not in unique as in unique, but it's more like since it's very new, how can I say? Since it's very new, I don't want somebody to take the business model and do the same thing. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
That's it. That's it. That's how that's what I meant. I meant by I'm not going to tell you everything. Well, we talk about it a little bit. So for now, it was exclusively word of mouth. So people could buy from the website, and then they had that little card in the mail, or like try to push them to buy the customization package. And then I had that friend, that naturopath woman who worked with me on a few different recipes. She all the pop-up at her place with her customers. She has a nice wellness studio. So we did a pop-up there. And so for now, it's really direct to consumer. So it's online, pop-up, word of mouth. In September, October, I'm going to be at the Aoyama market in Tokyo. So it's like a very high-end, very upscale market. They asked me to be part of it, which is fine. And what I really, really, really want to do is to have some like a shop. I don't know yet, but a flagship shop or many different shop. It's still in in discussion, to have it in as a drink. Okay, meaning hot chocolate or cold chocolate, like a Starbucks. Instead of selling coffee, we sell chocolate with the customization and with our functional ingredient inside. But the point was to have different base of chocolate, 60, 70, 90, with I don't know, let's say I want mint, or orange or citrus, plus so the powder, the cacao powder, the base. Then the person will want to add some orange orange zest or mint or cinnamon, plus I want maitake, or I want tremella, or I want lion manes, or something. That's really, really what I want, but operating as a Starbucks coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I want. Plus also the possibility of buying our chocolate in the shop to drink it, because the problem is, like, everybody, we all, we eat chocolate from October until April or May, and then June, July, August, there's not really a lot of sales of chocolate. So I thought the idea of like having it as a drink, especially in summer, like a frappuccino, a chocolate frappuccino. Yeah, like a Starbucks operating model. I mean, with a premium product, of course, but I mean, you see, coffee shop where you can sit, you can drink, you can eat something.
Yeah. I mean, because as of now, there's not a lot of choice when it comes to personalizing hot chocolate or
I think there's no.
It's just hot chocolate and that's it.
It's hot chocolate with chantilly, like the cream on top, with whipped cream on top of it.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah. That's a really interesting route to take. Like Starbucks for hot chocolate, or chocolates.
I mean, not just for hot chocolate, but for chocolate.
Chocolate drinks and chocolate. Yeah.
Yes.
Who are your customers right now? Who's the typical customer?
Very high-end wellness woman and men. Like a typical example, this Japanese woman, she's a surgeon. She was also a yoga and Pilates teacher. So she's like really into wellness. So this is the kind of customers that I have now. But I want to extend the base, but it's true that it's not cheap. It's not cheap.
Yeah. You have sorry. No, I was going to ask if you have products that you always make, or are all of your products order first and then you make?
No, the base is the one I always have. The orange stripes, the panda, the teddy bear, the caramel, and what else? And for now, that's it.
Okay.
But in September, I'm gonna have a larger base product, and then other customized. Yeah, but I'm working on hey, why? I'm working on having my no, it's good. I'm working on having a larger base product. Yes.
Oh, so more base products that you always have in stock, that kind of things.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a question that came up in my head and now I've kind of slipped away. Oh, it's gone. I'm sorry. I had a question that I thought was very interesting and I was like, oh, damn. I don't, something you said about, I don't remember what it is. So you mentioned that right now, all of your customers are through direct to consumer, like all of the chocolate that you sell is direct to consumer. But how are people finding your products?
As I say, it's only word of mouth for now.
All right.
Yeah. And some on Instagram. Same thing in September or October. I will put a proper, commercial strategy to get to different cafe. But I also need to be careful what I do because, it's Tokyo and there's tons of vegan, healthy stuff, and they don't always know how to promote somebody else's product. So
right.
I got good contact yesterday at that event. So I kind of trust them because we are from the same ecosystem. So we will work together in September. And there's also wine houses. So for example, 2 weeks ago we did a chocolate pairing, wine tasting and chocolate pairing for a big French wine house called Rothschild. They just launched a new red wine and they asked me to make the chocolate for them for the testing. So those ones were not functional at all. They were just pure classic, just pairing. So we do that too.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
No, we do that too. We do testing. We can do events. Yeah.
Okay. It's actually, it sounds like you have found a niche that really addresses a more adult need for chocolate.
Yeah.
Yes, adults consume chocolate, but it's traditionally in many places, people think of it as kids, like it's something for kids, or it's something that you have when you're upset or when you're really happy. Like it's very occasion based or mood based.
Chocolate. Yeah, you're right. Oh, there's also the femme care line that is coming up.
Interesting. Okay. Because when you said shatavari, I did wonder about that because I think that in India, that's usually, I've seen it in a lot of femme care combinations.
So. Yeah. So there is I'm going to make a little pack with the teddy bears, where the thing for skin, the shatavari, and one I want to try. I would love to find something to, alleviate the pain. So I know cinnamon is good for that, but I want to see if I can find something else. And then just a plain mini tablet, just for the sake of having a nice chocolate tablet. Yeah. So I think there will be 3 or 4 products in this femme care.
That sounds amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, it's in the pipes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because right now, women's health, again, another major growing trend. I really like how you're touching so many different trends with these products.
Thank you.
So, all right. I am so sorry. I have already gone over time. I don't know how much I've eaten into your time as well. So
I can do another half hour if you need.
I have so many more questions. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay. Excellent. So I'm going to guess that the people who come back to you for specific functional benefits, they're coming back because they find that these products work. And that's always I guess, a concern with functional products. Do they work? Do they work for me? These are not medical, like they don't undergo clinical trials, so I don't know if they're going to work. So there's an element of faith to it, but clearly for some people it works and they do come back to you for the same set of things. So do you have to validate any of these benefits? Or again, I think we did talk about this, that you're picking ingredients that do have that kind of traditional knowledge of working.
Yes. I try to pick this work already traditional knowledge. Because, and this is exactly what I discussed with Hugo the other day. If I make any claim that this will improve your skin by, I don't know, hydration skin by 30%, I need to go to the lab.
Yes.
And to tell them, is this true or not? And they make the test. And that's going to cost me a lot of money. And I'm not there yet. So that's why I told you a bit earlier, it's only a recreational thingy. It's not meditation.
Yeah.
Because if I would do, I mean, I understand what you mean. For now, I cannot, like, financially speaking, I cannot do it. But I'm trying to, for example, I'm talking with some investors, and there is definitely a chunk of the money I will raise that would go to, yes, that's the point. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, I'm not going to develop myself a product that makes skin hydration better. If there's something that already exists, then I will use it.
So when it comes to when you're making your chocolate, your entire range is vegan, is it?
Sorry?
Is your entire range of chocolates vegan or dairy free?
No, because some are ganache and it's made with cream.
Okay.
It's made with cream. I can definitely, there is some vegan caramel because it's made with coconut milk. I could have, like, for example, for the same product, I can make a vegan variation. Yeah, a vegan version.
Okay. I wondered because you talked about vegan caramel right at the beginning. So I wondered if your entire range is vegan.
No, I could do it, but I mean the cacao itself, it is vegan, but I mean, all the chocolate bars are vegan. Yes. There's nothing. But the only thing that are not vegan are some of the caramel, the marshmallow, because there's gelatin inside, and what else? The caramel and the marshmallow. Yeah, that's it. And the one where I have to make the ganache.
Okay. Okay.
Even though that could be made with a cream with no dairy, but I guess it's gonna have a different cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Japan the cream is already very expensive, and if I try to make with actually there is sorry, the cost is not going to be any different, not that much for non-dairy the non-dairy version. No, because there's actually a brand that makes cream with no dairy, and they're actually cheaper than a proper cream, so it's fine.
So we have arrived then. The price parity for dairy and non-dairy has actually started to disappear.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, it's in Japan, everything is so expensive.
Yeah.
Dairy is expensive in Japan.
Okay. I actually want to chat with you about something you said in the beginning when you were talking about how seeing the price fluctuations and prices shoot up for cacao right now. You mentioned how bigger companies actually do day trading, and they're buying through day trading rather than kind of fixing the price rather than using a futures model.
I think they all have their own they all have their own way of doing it. The one I used to work with, we were locking in the price for 3 years at least. Yes, right. And the future contract, you can always roll it. You can roll it back again if it doesn't, if you don't need delivery. But for example, in the hedge fund I was working, because it was a hedge fund, we could not take delivery of 3 tons of soybean. Well, where in the office. So we will just sell back the contract. But what they usually do, some companies have effectively, like, they trade it around the clock. And they do, most of the time it's a future contract.
Okay. So is this day trading, is this constant trading kind of artificially inflating the prices?
No, no, it's plain supply and demand, really. Yeah, it's difficult to grow cocoa.
Yeah.
Also, if there is not, then the price gonna shoot up.
Yeah, because right now I think yields have significantly dropped in Africa because of the weather issues, some disease. There were some pest issues as well with the plants.
But there's also some. I mean, I don't know if it's playing with the price just now, if it's pressuring the price or not. They're trying to find alternatives. Chocolate without cacao.
Yeah.
I don't know about this, but this will probably put pressure on the price as well. There's always, how can I say? In the plantation, there's always a problem of also labor. It's not that it's expensive, it's just that there's none. What else? The weather, so as you mentioned, crops, harvest. And then you have the traders that always want more and more and more and more. So there is a upward pressure, yes indeed. It's a lot of those elements, but really the main thing is the weather condition. Although when I was trading commodities, but I was trading not corn, not corn, wheat. We knew that some of the farmers will just instead of selling it, they would just let it rot in the warehouse because they didn't like the price. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure this also happens with cacao as well. Actually, I'm not pretty sure. I'm sure because I've read that at the London Exchange they realized they had some more cacao that were like that just went bad because they didn't traded it and they didn't sell it.
At a time when everyone is quite literally dying for cacao.
Yeah. So that's why I don't play the game, because it's definitely with African cacao. I don't play the game because I played it when I was trading commodities. I just hope they're not gonna switch to South America.
There appears to be some fair amount of interest in both Colombia and Peru
Colombia
now.
will not be able to supply the demand, that's for sure. There's a good chunk in Venezuela, in Ecuador, but it's all very small plantation as well. And Peru can supply. They can supply everybody. If they get more industrialized and more organized, they can't, because I've seen and I have tasted amazing cacao, but they're not properly organized. Meaning one can do the fermentation, but that's it. It doesn't know how to do the toasting. And then you have the guy who can do the toasting, but then when it comes to tempering the chocolate, to make block and send it overseas, they can't do it. So,
but doesn't that mean that like bigger companies will discover this and they will come in because they have the money and start investing in these places?
I don't know. That's what I thought. Because it's not new. Cacao, Peru from Peru is not new. Nothing has been done yet. The company I work with, Maison, they have done it themselves. That's it. And it's actually people like me who's digging around who find them. And when you go to the factory, spotless, less. Like they work in suits, they work with head protection, spotless, and you cannot even enter if you're not wearing the suit as well. They won't let you in.
Okay.
So it seems a bit odd from outside, but when you get inside, it's like a hospital. It's so clean. It's like an hospital. So that's why I also decided to work with them, because it was by far the cleanest. But they also told me, for example, if I find cacao that I like, can also transform it for me.
Okay, so you can give them cacao from another region.
But I won't, because there's no
transportation.
First of all, but there's also no better alternative. Yeah. Also, I've tried in a different place, like in central Peru. So that was like rainforest as best. Same. This is very good, but one can only do this. The other one can only do the toasting. Okay, but what do I do? Like, I mean, the toasting is like at 100 kilometers of the guy who ferments the bean, which is another 50 kilometers from the guy who grows the bean. Guys, come on. It's a bit, it was a bit tiresome, but also, as you said, the big guys, if they come, but that's the point, the big guys, the plantations I've seen, they're too small for those big guys. They put all together, they can maybe do something, but the chocolate is so different. The taste is so different. And I don't see the point of, this such a premium chocolate. It's such a premium cacao that I just don't see the point to spend like $20 on 1 kilo and just mix it up with, another one. I mean, some do that. Some do that. They buy expensive one, and when you have like 10% of, let's say, chocolate from Belgium, you can say it's chocolate from Belgium, even if it's drawn into like 90% of Ghana's chocolate.
This has been a fascinating conversation. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's such a, first of all, the fact that something like chocolate cacao exists and can be converted into something that we buy in the store that comes in that format with that taste. The entire journey is mind-blowing. People want everything to be healthier.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. That's true.
So, and it makes sense that, okay, fine, chocolate is considered as an indulgence, but there are ways to make it.
Yeah, true. And I was actually wondering, because in my mind, functional was actually cheap. Okay, means cheap. And I was a little bit, how can I say? I was not too confident about using a premium chocolate for functional ingredient.
Huh. Why did you think functional would be cheaper?
I don't know. It's just the vibe. I got functional stuff, because for me, functional stuff is always like those protein bar, protein this, protein that.
I see. Okay.
But they're actually quite expensive. You're right. It's actually quite expensive. And I don't know, but I just did this instinctively, like a premium ingredient with a functional ingredient. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think that functional is going to get, because you're layering on so many of these aspects of different trends. So you have a really premium chocolate base from a region, sourced from a region that is unusual.
Yeah, very unusual. They don't go there. They just don't.
Yeah. And then you have the functional ingredients that are also unusual. I mean, it's not your standard. Like, it's like really unusual. I forgot the name of the vanilla.
Which one?
The vanilla mushroom.
The tremella.
The tremella. I am going to forever remember it as vanilla mushroom. Yeah, and then you're personalizing it. So you have like these really interesting plays going on.
True.
So, okay. I
made a white chocolate with avocado.
I saw. Oh yes, I saw that, the slightly green one. I saw that.
Yeah, that was good though.
Does the avocado function in place of cocoa butter? Does it work as that?
That was a test, because I found that awesome brand in at the Food X, and they have, this is the same. I use the strawberries for the teddy bear. They have all these nice ingredients. They dry freeze them, and then they turn it into a powder. So they asked me to try for the avocado, the strawberries, and it's actually good. It's actually really good. But I'm not gonna commercialize this one yet.
Just for you.
Yeah, that was just for me. But it's actually good. Chocolate and avocado is really good. I used to make a chocolate mousse with avocado. Very good.
Okay.
And you don't feel the avocado. You don't taste it.
Avocado doesn't really have much of a taste anyway.
Sure.
So, but they freeze dry avocado and they powder it. So it's an avocado powder.
Wait, hold on a second. Maybe I have it. Yeah, those are snacks. So it's this brand. It's called Vianda. They're from Mexico. I found them at Food X. So this is the strawberry snacks. So I'm opening it. Oh, nice. And it's real fruit?
Yes.
Okay, so this is I opened that bag. That was the snacks. But basically they also process it into a very, very, very fine powder. Like very, very fine. And then you can do whatever you want with. You can replace it. You can use it instead of flour. You can use it instead of anything. That's good. And it tastes like strawberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me. This is really great.